Okay guys, this is a different video. I want to talk a little bit about this car brand that has such a wide breadth of talent that you just can't help but respect this car brand. Okay, it is one of the world's oldest car brand. Okay, its history, I mean, of course there are mergers and acquisitions, but part of it goes all the way back to 1886, where Carl Benz, right, created the Benz patent motor wagon, and then his company Benz and C was merged into Daimler Motorengesellschaft, right? So Daimler Motorengesellschaft is the company that we now know as Mercedes-Benz, right? Mercedes-Benz is the brand and Daimler is the parent company. And of course, throughout the years, there are some mergers as well, right? With Daimler Chrysler, which didn't turn out really good. But think about it. Is there ever a car brand that can make a panel van, a bus, lorry, even garbage trucks, if you name it, buses, and then also making hypercars, and of course stuffs like these, right? So to talk about this video, I grabbed these two cars. One resembles what they do with four-door sedans, right, in the sphere of performance, and then the other one would be the ultimate in luxury, extravagance, you know, and exclusivity, right? So Mercedes-Benz is such a crazy car company. They know what they're doing, and they are just not stopping on all fronts, right? Let's count a little bit of their recent craziness, right? They made the A45, a 2-liter engine car with 380 over horsepower. They're going to bump it up to 400 now. And then they have this guy here with 600 horsepower. And this one is not about horsepower, but it's about luxury. It's about oozing and floating, magic carpet ride on the roads, right? This is the epitome of their luxury line, Maybach. And that one is AMG, right? Helming from Affalterbach. Right. AMG used to be a company that modifies Mercedes-Benzes and went racing with them, and Mercedes then bought them up and become a subsidiary of Mercedes-Benz. Right. So what really makes this car company have such confidence, you know, in going all out in every single front? Actually, when you think about it, yes, Carl Benz created the car, which is like the internal combustion engine car, right, in 1886, Benz patent motor wagon. But to me, that is not the most important car that they built. To me, the most important car that they built actually came from Daimler itself, which is DMG, Daimler Motorengesellschaft. That car is called the Mercedes 35. You can do a little bit of Google search about that car. Why? Let me tell you. Look at these two cars, right? They are essentially what we call 3-box cars, okay? What do I mean by 3-box? This is the first box, see? Right, this one. And the second one would be the passenger part, okay? And then the third one would be the engine compartment. 3 boxes. And then in between will be the axles, the front and rear axles, and then the passengers will be in there. Maybe the engine is somewhere around there. This format was created by Daimler. Okay, so how this came about is a guy named Emil Jelinek. He is a Mercedes-Benz distributor, and he went to DMG and tell Wilhelm Maybach and Gottlieb Daimler. These two are the founders of DMG, which owns the brand Mercedes-Benz. Okay, of course it's no longer called DMG now, it's just called Daimler. he went to them and said that, I want you to build a car like this, essentially drawing out and, you know, building the car with them and telling them what he needs. Why? Let me tell you. Okay, back in that era, in the early 1900s, it is at the infancy stage of car making, and there are a lot of new entrepreneurs or startups, you may call it, who wants to venture into this lucrative business. Just like now, you have a lot of IT startups, right? But back then, the hype, you know, the in thing is to create cars or automobiles, and everybody wants to prove that they make better cars than the other guy. So how do you prove your cars are better? And that was at its infancy stage. That means cars break down very often. Cars is hard to start, right? Basically, the only way to prove that you are better than your competitor would be to go racing, right? And during that era, automotive racing, right, those cars are hilarious, let me tell you. They look something like motorized horse carriages. Basically, you have the engine, the components, the gears, everything is underneath, and then you have large wheels, and then everybody sits atop and with the steering wheel down below. So let's just say there aren't a lot of stability to say, or dynamic per se. Those cars are clumsy, they topple, they crash, they are just clumsy, but that's what the era is. What Emil Jelinek created is to have the front and rear wheels. Okay, let me show you, let me turn you around. Basically, the front and rear wheels housing the passenger, housing the engine, all in one single level with distinct 3 boxes separating them. Okay, one for luggage, one for people, one for engine. That is what he commissioned Wilhelm Maybach and Gottlieb Daimler to build. Okay, so that the creation of that is fundamentally different. It is a paradigm shift in car making, because back then you have the wheels, you have the engine, the transmission, everything down here, both wheels, and then everybody sits on top, right? Those cars of olden days are very tall. They are very, very tall. So with that, with the Mercedes 35, now why is it called 35? Why is it called 35? Because it only makes 35 horsepower. Okay, but that era, that is crazy. Okay, that is arguably one of the fastest cars of that era, and that car dominated every race. Okay, it wins so many races that that car, the Mercedes 35, became so popular that Wilhelm Maybach and Gottlieb Daimler decided to change the brand of their cars from DMG to Mercedes-Benz, all right, which is this logo we see here. Okay, and this logo was incorporated in 1926. So officially, this car brand, Mercedes-Benz as a brand, actually did not exist until 1926. The car company existed, but the brand only incorporated in 1926. So which is actually 10 years later than BMW. But that doesn't take away the part whereby they contributed hugely to the development of car making in the 1900s century. So then you'll be thinking, what with the name Mercedes, if this name wasn't in Wilhelm Maybach's name or Gottlieb Daimler's name, right? Mercedes is actually the daughter of Emil Jelinek. So he created that car and christened his daughter's name present or whatever. He loved his daughter, right? So yeah, the name of that girl became the name of the brand. And the brand came about because after that they bought over the company, which is their competitor, Benz and C, which is a car company, and became Mercedes-Benz. So with Mercedes-Benz holding the ownership of car making, the history of car making ownership, they of course have a different set of confidence level when it comes to car making, and we see them exploit this crazily over the past few years. where not only globally they are now the leading premium brand, which they have been for more than 100 years. And truthfully so, they beat BMW in global sales, they beat BMW in sales in Malaysia, in a lot of countries as well, and they are not stopping. From the looks of it, they are not done yet. Yeah. So I am amazed with this car brand, seriously, Mercedes-Benz. So today I have the E63 S V8 bi-turbo 4MATIC and the S560, also a V8 bi-turbo. Now when we come to engine, now Mercedes is no stranger to making crazy power plants. Okay, in fact, before World War II broke out, they have a car. That time they were already in the sphere of competing for land speed record. They have a car designed to go more than 650 km/h. Yeah, before World War II. Can you imagine that? In the 30s, they did something like that. All right. As for these two power plants, they are actually from the same engine, 4-liter V8, and I think this is one of the best engines ever created in this decade. Okay, why? Look at it. This car, 4-liter V8, essentially the same engine. 4-liter V8, essentially the same engine, right? But this one makes 604 horsepower, 850 Newton meters of torque. So this one is very torquey. It gives you that kind of growl, that kind of push, right? But this one makes 469 horsepower and 700 Newton meters of torque. This is a very gliding, gracefully moving kind of behavior. And then this engine is also in the AMG GT, which has 500 over horsepower, but below 600 Newton meters of torque, which means you need the revs. You are building the revs as a race car, And this just shows that they don't only just put in the same engine into these cars and then call it a day off, but they actually massage them to fit the character of the car, right? So, yeah, you can't help but respect this car brand, all right? So, Maybach, earlier on, we all know that Mercedes actually launched the brand Maybach to challenge, Rolls-Royce and Bentley, because they were actually in the bid as well with BMW and Volkswagen to buy over Rolls-Royce. They were within that bid. They lost the bid, but then they just launched their own Maybach brand. But that car wasn't that big of a difference with the S-Class that era, even though it's luxurious, it's absurdly long. So after that, they decided to merge Maybach into the topmost of their luxury lineup, and then they have a consistent range of AMGs for performance driving, for the performance enthusiast, and that one would carry the torch, or the torch bearer for what this car brand is known for as the leader in luxury car making. All right, and you know what? And Mercedes is a good guy. You know why? After the war, there was a time whereby BMW was seriously in trouble, and you know what? Mercedes actually offered to help. Yep, this competitor. And in the 80s, when Porsche is in deep shit, Mercedes also throw them some projects. All right, give them some projects. That's how the 500 came about. The crazy E-Class came about, and in fact, that's not the first time Mercedes gave projects to Ferdinand Porsche, the company that helmed from Porsche, because remember the land speed record car I mentioned earlier on, and a lot of race winning cars that Mercedes had in the previous century, they're all commissioned by Mercedes to Ferdinand Porsche. Now, a lot of storytelling. Let's go through these two cars, all right? I mean, that's what you guys are here about, right? Now, this may be an E-Class, but you can see there is a distinct difference because it has a clamshell bonnet instead of a cut line that runs across, and then the headlamps are from the coupes instead of the sedans. So the whole front profile of this car looks vastly different. In the sedan, you will have this part all by itself with a cut line over. And then in this E63, which is this front end, this whole front end is unique only to the E63. Very, very special and very muscular and beautiful, especially the white body. That makes it all the more different. And of course, you have these little garnishing badges over here, right? 4matic Plus. So this car, 4-liter V8 bi-turbo 4matic. And then it has what they call a torque converter, a regular automatic transmission, but the torque converter was replaced with a locking wet clutch, right, to give the immediate response when engine is up to speed. And of course, being an AMG, I think Mercedes-Benz makes beautiful wheels. All their rim designs are really, really good looking. And you have this little spoiler at the back here. And then you have this exhausts and diffusers, all the go fast bits on this car. Okay, I love these little crystal like LED garnishings, and you can see here the E63 S. Alright, lovely, lovely car. One thing I want to show you is look at the seats. Look at how thin the seats are. Crazy, right? Wait, let me turn on the car a bit. Let some light in, and you just take a look at yourself. Take a look for yourself how thin the seats are. So that actually gives a sense of roominess. Okay. Yep. Yeah. You're like, oh, there's a lot of room because the seats are really thin, and lovely, lovely place in here. Typical of Mercedes-Benzes, they know how to, inject some emotion into their cars. Lovely armrest, cup holders, look properly sophisticated. You get a panoramic roof as well, dual panoramic roof. Okay, what do you expect less from a ringgit million car, right? And then that's the interior with the IWC watch over there. Alcantara steering wheel. Very, very nice. With these little bits here, the blue lighting and all that. Just lovely. Okay. Why did the radio turn on every single time? No. Alright. As a 4-seater or as a family car, this is perfect for the occasion. Right. It's absolutely perfect. And let's have a look at some of these little bits. It's not my first time videoing this car, so just gonna let you have a look at all this. See, Mercedes-Benz is just lovely. This steering wheel, you see, this is how this brand is. They can get away with a lot of things because essentially architecturally this steering wheel is the same as the one in their Vitos and all that, right? Just that they know when to put in what stuffs and all that. And this is an AMG Edition 1. Lovely. And then start the car. Oh, listen to that. Listen to that growl. Right? Yeah. Glorious. Glorious. Is it worth 1 million ringgit? Hell yes. It is worth 1 million ringgit. Because the sound it makes. My God. You want to listen to it? Crazy. Alright, this is just absolute bonkers. Alright, so not just a 4-door high-powered sedan like this, and they have stuffs like that. Look at this. Okay, let me start the car first. I'm starting to get warm. See, essentially the same steering wheel design, practically the same, and then a very different mood, right? Look at the interior. See, they know their stuff. They know how to craft different emotion for their cars, right? The seats are different, the finishing is different, the leather, the beautiful leather, all these are different, right? So this is what Mercedes is about. Crazy. Oh, let me switch off the rear aircon vents. Lovely. The buttons here, they feel great as well to the touch. And nice, man. This wood, this open pore wood just looks different, huh? The whole mood is different. Of course, it's not for youngsters. If you're a youngster looking at this car, you'll be like, not so much for me. And then you look at the panoramic roof, it's just not any usual glass, right? This one is able to turn completely transparent or like that with a touch of a button. I'm serious. So how they do it is they have those little crystals in there where they are like that, and then when the electricity current pass through, or they are like that, and then electricity current pass through, the crystal molecules just change. Crazy. Alright, and then the steering wheel, see that? Maybach. So this is a different level of fit and finish, I would say, compared to the usual ones. And oh, they sort of this used to be a lid where you can slide up and down. Now that's no longer the case. Now of course this car has been around for quite some time, right? And where's that lid? It's no longer there, or I got it wrong. Yeah, I don't think it's there. This is how it is now. Alright, so yeah, long video, but I'm amazed with this car company, you know, Mercedes-Benz. I'm just thoroughly amazed by the things that they can do, the things they're willing to do, the things that they can do. Alright, so if you buy a Maybach, you have some Maybach logos around the car. You have this, and then let's come to the rear. This is proper nice material. It's not your usual chrome plating. Oh, look at that. Look at that. This is proper, man. Can you imagine that? In this space, it's just so comfortable, so luxurious, and damn. Oh, I didn't on the car. Look at that. This is just another level, totally, right? There's some light in. Let me show you. All right. The material of these things just screams damn. Yeah, that's where a boss wants to be, you know. You have everything with you. Crazy, right? I'm lost for words. Stuffs that go on behind here. Alright, so yep, that's Mercedes-Benz for you. We're gonna review these two cars in the next couple of days. Not review, enjoy. Yeah, we're gonna enjoy these two cars over the next couple of days. Alright guys, yeah, a little bit of trivia, a little bit of history about Mercedes-Benz. Cheers.